Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much.
What if success came to you, naturally and effortlessly? Imagine opportunities seeking you out, doors opening with ease, and goals falling into place as if by design. What changes when you stop chasing and start magnetizing? Attracting success isn't magic, it's mindset. When you focus on purpose and presence, success begins to find you. In just a moment, I'll show you how to attract success instead of endlessly running after it. No more burnout, no more forcing outcomes, no more spinning in circles. It all starts with clarity of purpose. Some people move through life as if born for it. Steady, intentional, unwavering. Others drift, distracted, second-guessing every step. At first glance, it might look like luck, maybe even privilege. But if you look closer, you'll see something much more powerful at work: clarity. Clarity isn't a gift, it's a choice. A foggy mind will trip even the strongest legs. With vision sharpened and mission defined, your steps gain purpose, your path becomes unmistakable. Success doesn't favor those who simply wish. It comes to those who know what they want and pursue it with relentless determination. Clarity isn't a fleeting spark of inspiration. It's a line drawn in the sand. It's the declaration: here is who I am, here is what I will achieve, and here are the people I'll meet along the way. That decision to truly know yourself and claim what you desire is where movement begins. It's where drifting ends and intention takes over. Every person who left a mark on this world didn't start with perfect timing or endless resources. They began with vision, a plan written in the mind long before a single stone was set. Their greatness wasn't born in noise or applause. It was born in the quiet moment of decision, when no one believed, no one was watching, and they chose to do it anyway. That is clarity, not just vision of the destination, but the courage to walk toward it even when no one else sees the path. Picture a farmer in his field at dawn. He doesn't stand still, hoping for a miracle. He works the soil, knows the seasons, prepares the ground, and plants with purpose. That isn't hope, it's intention in motion. He understands that harvest comes not from luck, but from showing up, day after day, tending the land with steady hands. Now think about your own life. Do you treat it like that farmer's field, something to nurture, shape, and care for? Or do you let the wind carry you wherever it blows? Clarity demands that you ask yourself the hard questions. If no one expected anything from you, what would you truly want? If failure weren't possible, what dream would you chase without hesitation? What idea or project have you been delaying simply because you haven't chosen to commit? Many wait for clarity to appear like a sudden revelation. But clarity doesn't arrive on its own. You build it. You sit with your life, draw the boundaries, raise your flag, and move forward. It's not about waiting for the fog to clear. It's about pressing on despite the mist, letting every step forward carve the way. When you know, everything shifts. Distractions fade, doubts shrink, and doors open, not through magic, but through certainty. The universe doesn't bend for the undecided, and it doesn't align with hesitation. But when you're clear about who you are, what you want, and where you're going, everything begins to transform. People begin to notice when opportunities start appearing, and the world, sensing your certainty, moves aside. Clarity is not something that happens to you. It's something you create. It's your declaration that you are no longer drifting, but building, becoming, and embracing a future only you can see. And it's a future you're willing to bring to life one step at a time. The second key is resilience in the face of difficulty. It's easy to wear a smile when life runs smooth, when the sun warms your back and the road ahead looks clear. Anyone can appear strong then. But true strength is not born in calm, it's forged in storms. When the light fades, the ground shakes, and the plans you trusted start to fall apart, something deeper inside you begins to awaken. That is when success starts to take you seriously, because you've proven that you can stand firm when everything tries to push you down. Strength isn't built by avoiding challenges, it's built by facing them head-on. Struggles don't arrive to destroy you. They come to strip away weakness, doubt, and excuses. Fear, procrastination, hesitation, all dissolve under pressure. What remains is stronger, more authentic. That part of you isn't merely surviving the storm, it's revealed by it. Picture a mighty oak standing alone on an open plain. its trunk scarred by wind and rain, its branches marked by lightning. Seasons have tried to break it, yet it stands taller than ever. Its roots reach so deep that no storm can bring it down. That tree isn't strong in spite of the storm, it's strong because of it. The storm is both its master and its shaper. So now ask yourself, when life's winds and rains strike, do you stand tall like that oak? Or do you fall with the first strong gust? Too often we see obstacles as stop signs. They're not. They're signals, proof you are being shaped, refined, and forged. When plans collapse, when progress halts, when the world blocks every attempt, that's the true forge of champions. It's life asking, how badly do you want it? Every obstacle is a tool, carving patience into your nerves, discipline into your habits, and strength into your soul. You say you want success, but are you willing to drag it through the trenches? It's easy to show up when enthusiasm runs high and the sun is shining. But what about those days when you're drained, your energy gone, and discouragement whispers that it might not be worth it? That is the test, the moment that matters most. Success doesn't demand perfection, it demands that you show up, especially when it's hard. Resilience isn't a fake smile. It's the deliberate choice to rise when it's easier to quit, to keep your focus on the goal when the world gives you every reason to look away. It's not pretending pain doesn't exist. It's deciding to move forward anyway. You take the hit, but keep going. You fall, yet rise with wiser eyes. You don't curse the pain. You respect it because you know what most people don't. Pain is one of life's most direct teachers. Most live their lives trying to dodge pain, searching for shortcuts through the fire. But you face it head on. You greet it and say, "Teach me what I must learn." In doing so, you become unshakable, not because the world spared you from storms, but because you learned to survive within them. That is resilience. That is strength. That is the foundation true success is built upon. And now comes the third key, self-belief. You will never rise beyond the opinion you hold of yourself. It's the quiet truth so often ignored in the chase for validation, status, or triumph. You may have raw talent, relentless work ethic, and every advantage laid before you. But if deep inside you doubt your worth, if you truly believe you're not enough, if you doubt yourself, you will sabotage your own rise. You won't surpass your limits, not because the world holds you back, but because your self-conception cages you. Success doesn't follow the uncertain. It isn't drawn to those who waver, whispering their dreams under their breath, afraid of being seen failing. It finds those who step forward with quiet confidence, not the loud, boastful kind, but the steady, unshakable kind that lives deep within your bones. The kind that says, "I know who I am. I know what I'm here to do." When you hold that, you don't need applause. You don't even need permission. You act because your belief has already decided. Here's a truth rarely spoken. Your brain doesn't distinguish between what is real and what you keep telling it. Belief shapes perception, perception shapes behavior, and behavior shapes outcomes. If you feed your brain doubt, it accepts it as truth and builds your world around it. But feed it confidence, conviction, and direction, and it transforms that into courage. It leads you into spaces you once thought were closed to you, and makes you walk as if you belong there. You've seen it before. Someone walks into a room and captures attention without saying a word. There's no arrogance in their presence, only the weight of self-respect. That is inner authority. It doesn't come from titles or achievements. It begins with belief, a choice made long before anyone else could validate it. The question is, do you carry that within you? Or are you still waiting? Waiting for the right sign, the perfect time, or someone else's permission? What if you simply chose tomorrow? That the future you're building has nothing to do with the past that tried to hold you back. Choose to believe you don't need permission to go further, to reach higher, to speak louder. Imagine drawing a line in the sand and declaring, from this moment on, I live by my own vision, not by anyone else's doubt. How different would life look if you believed you were enough now? Not someday, not after fixing every flaw, but right now, exactly as you are. Which doors would you dare to knock on? What conversations would you start? What fears would lose their power? The truth is, you already have everything you need. You've carried it all along. The key to unlocking your future isn't more approval or more accomplishments. It's realizing that your mind is your greatest weapon, and what you put into it creates everything ahead of you. When you feed it strength instead of fear, courage instead of comparison, those closed doors no longer look like walls. They become invitations, challenges waiting for your knock. And when your belief runs deep, even the universe leans in and whispers, "You're ready." The fourth key is purpose over passion. People love to say, "Follow your passion," as if passion alone will carry you through every obstacle and land you in the life you want. But here's what they don't tell you. Passion is volatile. It burns hot at the start, filling your chest with fire and your mind with ambition. But over time, it fades. Passion can vanish in the grind of exhaustion, rejection, or monotony. One morning, you wake up and the flame is gone. And if passion is all you had, you quit. You chase the next spark, only to repeat the cycle again, hoping this time it will last. Purpose, though, that's different. Purpose doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't vanish when you're tired or unmotivated. Purpose is steady, enduring. It's the force that carries you forward on the days when your world feels like it's falling apart. Purpose keeps your hands moving, your feet steady, and your mind fixed on the marathon. Where passion flares brightly but briefly, purpose burns low and steady, enduring through time. Success doesn't come from the thrill of the chase. It doesn't belong to those who act only when motivation is high. It belongs to those who serve a purpose, something greater than ego or convenience. A life of substance isn't built by doing what feels good in the moment. It's built by returning to the work when it's inconvenient, when no one is watching, when you'd rather be anywhere else. That's when it matters most. Imagine trying to build a shelter in the middle of a storm. The sky is black, rain pouring, thunder crashing, and every instinct tells you to stop. But if the shelter is essential, if the life you're building truly matters, you don't quit. You lay each brick with trembling hands, not because you enjoy the storm, but because you believe in the home. That's how purpose works. It pushes you forward when passion runs dry. So ask yourself, are you chasing what excites you? Or are you creating what sustains you? Excitement is fleeting. It gives you a quick burst of momentum, but it disappears when things get tough. What if, instead of asking, "What do I feel like doing?" you asked, "What must be done to create a life that matters?" That question changes everything. Suddenly, you're not waiting for inspiration to arrive. You show up, ready to work, no matter the mood or situation. Picture yourself committing to a higher purpose, a calling, not because it makes you feel important, but because it reflects what you value, because it speaks to your soul even when your emotions waver. That's when real power begins. That's when your work becomes sacred, driven not by ego, but by something far greater. You're no longer chasing applause, you're aiming for impact. And impact is quiet. It isn't always glamorous, but it leaves a legacy. Let others chase excitement, rising fast, and burning out just as quickly. You choose to be the one who lasts. Be the one who keeps stacking brick upon brick long after the crowd has stopped watching. Because passion will fade, and it always does, but purpose remains. What builds something lasting isn't the thrill, but perseverance. It's persistence. It's the refusal to give up. What you create with purpose will endure long after the noise has vanished. The fifth key is discipline over motivation. Let's be clear, motivation is inconsistent. It comes and goes like the weather. Bright one moment, stormy the next, never reliable. It shows up when things feel exciting, when energy is high, but disappears as soon as the struggle begins. If you rely on motivation to build something that lasts, you're already in trouble. What happens on the days it doesn't show up? What happens when you simply don't feel like it? That's where discipline steps in. Discipline isn't flashy. It doesn't arrive with applause or care about your mood. It just shows up, day after day, hour after hour, before the sun rises, after energy fades, through doubt, boredom, and resistance. Discipline is the steady presence that keeps moving forward even when every part of you wants to quit. It won't lie to you. It won't comfort you. It will only ask, are you ready to put in the work? Because if your actions depend on your moods, you'll live in endless cycles, starting strong, then running out of steam. The people who get things done, the ones who rise above the crowd, aren't waiting to feel ready. They discipline themselves to act no matter what. They understand that repeated action builds momentum, and momentum eventually shapes identity. Do something enough times, and it becomes who you are. Imagine a man splitting wood every morning before dawn. He doesn't do it because it excites him. He doesn't do it for recognition. He does it because winter is always coming. He knows the cost of waiting until it's too late. He isn't chasing inspiration, he's fulfilling duty. And by doing so, He creates more than just a pile of firewood. He creates toughness. That's what discipline is about. Now ask yourself, could you move like that? Could you keep going without an audience, without the thrill of being seen? Could you stay committed when the process feels dull, empty, or unrecognized? Would you still chase your dream if no one ever applauded? That is the real test. When no one is watching, when there's no immediate reward, that's when your discipline is revealed. That's when truth shows itself. Every time you choose the foundation over the shortcut, follow through over excuses, you build something inside you that can never be taken away. It isn't grit for endurance's sake. It's about becoming someone you can trust. When you trust yourself, everything changes. You stop bargaining with your goals. You stop questioning whether you'll follow through. You simply do. The world is filled with people waiting for inspiration, waiting to be moved before they act. But those who leave legacies, those who lead, flip the script. They move first. They act before they feel like it. And by doing so, they become the kind of people the world cannot ignore. They don't follow the pace of their emotions. They set the pace with discipline. So don't sit around waiting for the lightning strike of motivation. Ignite the spark yourself. Stand up, take the step, do the work, even when it's hard, even when it's silent. Let discipline lead the way. Let action shape your identity. And when it does, the world won't need to tell you who you are. It will simply try to keep up. The sixth key is the power of persistence. You've seen it before. Someone begins a project, a business, or a dream with eyes blazing and energy bright enough to light a city. For a moment, it seems unstoppable. But then reality steps in. A few setbacks, silence from the crowd, a door that refuses to open. And just like that, they vanish. You wonder what happened. They had talent, they had momentum, but they lacked staying power. That's the piece so many forget. Those who succeed aren't always the smartest, the most gifted, or the loudest in the room. They're the ones who endure. When others give up, they continue forward. When the applause fades, when the road turns quiet, when the work feels invisible, they show up anyway. Persistence doesn't care whether the light is green or red. It just keeps moving. It's not glamorous, it's not followed by applause, and it rarely delivers instant results. It shows up in worn boots, rough hands, and steady eyes. It asks for nothing but the will to continue. Day after day, even when it's dull, even when it hurts, even when every thought tells you it might not be worth it. That's when persistence proves its worth. Slowly, brick by brick, it builds. And before long, those bricks form something real, something lasting. Persistence is like digging for water. You can spend days working under the sun, shoveling dirt, digging deeper and deeper. 10 feet down, there's still nothing. Most people stop there. They say, "It's dry, I must have been wrong." But what if the water was just 2 feet lower? What if one more day, one more effort, one more refusal to quit was all it took? Most breakthroughs don't happen in the crowd. They arrive in silence, when no one is watching, because no one stayed long enough to see. The people who build things that matter, great minds, creators, leaders, all share this quiet power. They persisted. When results were invisible, when progress slowed to a crawl, when uncertainty hung over them like a blanket, they asked a different question. Not, is it working, but am I still moving? That was their triumph. Small, steady movement became their answer. And eventually, those steps built something far greater than talent alone could achieve. Now ask yourself honestly, how many times have you started with excitement only to burn out just as fast? How many times have you mistaken passion for commitment? You lit the match, but you didn't tend the flame. You expected a fire without learning how to sustain it. What if the secret isn't how loudly you begin, but how long you persist? What if instead of trying to finish in one breath, you committed to simply showing up? Not for a week, not until it gets easier, but until it becomes who you are. Until the work yields its harvest. Until the effort generates its own energy. Perseverance is your quiet declaration of faith. It says, I believe in the future I'm building. And then it gets back to work, not with flair, but with dedication. It respects the process enough to return again and again. It doesn't ask for perfect conditions, only another sunrise. Because in the end, it isn't the fastest, the strongest, or even the smartest who finishes the race. The danger is that most never stay long enough to see it through. Many stumble through life surrounded by clutter, chaos, and toxic conversations that eat away at their potential. They assume this setting is normal, never questioning how it shapes their expectations. Your surroundings train you more than you realize. They define what feels acceptable, they hint at what's possible, and they quietly set the boundaries of your thinking. If you spend time with people who mock ambition, resist growth, and fear change, their mindset seeps into your subconscious. Before long, you shrink your dreams to fit their limits. But live among builders, dreamers, and those with purpose, and you'll feel that same drive awaken within you. It isn't magic, it's proximity. What surrounds you shapes you. Think of your environment as a silent teacher and ask yourself, what is it teaching you? Imagine waking up each day in a space that breathes order and focus. A clean desk, an intentional room, words on the wall that challenge your thinking, and quiet moments that allow your thoughts to expand. Now compare that to waking in disorder. Papers scattered everywhere, distractions within reach, noise leaking in from every corner. Which version of you thrives? Which version leads? Which one even has the room to dream boldly and act with purpose? It's easy to say, I can't move, I'm stuck with what I have. But no one is asking you to tear down walls or build a mansion. You don't have to overhaul your life to change your soil. Begin where you are. Clear a corner. Organize your desk. Shape what's right in front of you. Even the smallest changes can shift your energy. Choose your books the way you choose your closest friends. Pick the ones that challenge and inspire you. Eliminate the mental junk food, gossip, noise, distractions that dull your focus and feed your doubts. Post reminders of who you want to become. Place a quote that speaks to your heart. Keep a journal nearby to capture your best ideas. Make the space around you a reflection of the life you're building. You don't need to wait for the perfect setting. You need to create one within what you already have. Ask yourself the tougher questions. Who are you listening to every day? Whose voices shape the way you see the world? What conversations fill your time? Do they stretch your mind or shrink it? Do they lift you higher or keep you small and comfortable? And what images, what content, what noise fill your days when you're not paying attention? It matters more than you think. You may not control everything outside your walls, but you absolutely control what you let inside. And you must. Your mental space is sacred. It's where dreams live, where thoughts take root, where identity is forged. Guard it like treasure, because it is. A strong mind cannot thrive in a weak environment. Treat your environment like soil. What you water, what you plant, what you remove, determines what will grow. Fertile soil builds strong roots. Strong roots withstand storms. They carry weight. They nourish greatness. But shallow, neglected soil choked with noise can never sustain real growth. Those who rise, who leave legacies, who lead, it isn't only because they work hard. It's because they create an ecosystem capable of holding their dreams. Their environment is built on focus, clarity, and intention. They don't leave the future to chance. They design the conditions for it to flourish. So look at the world right in front of you. Your bedroom, your online feeds, your daily conversations. Ask yourself, does this help me grow, or does it keep me stuck? You don't have to change everything overnight, but you do have to begin. Remove one thing, add one thing, shift one thing. Watch how the change outside starts to shift something inside you. When your space rises, so do you. The soil matters. The space matters. And so do you. The eighth key is the gift of delayed gratification. The world is loud about speed. The world celebrates quick wins, praises overnight success, and pushes you to grab what you can while you can. Everywhere you turn, there's a whisper asking, why wait? We're conditioned to believe that if it doesn't happen right away, it won't happen at all. But those who achieve lasting, authentic success know something deeper, something quieter. They understand the art of patience, the ability to see what's in front of you and tell yourself, not yet, but soon. That isn't weakness, it's strength. Nothing worthwhile grows instantly. A seed planted today won't bear fruit tomorrow, no matter how much you want it. A house isn't built in a weekend. Yet so many of us crave the parade before we've even learned the steps of the dance. We want the prize without the repetition, the result without the perseverance. But life doesn't work that way, not for anything meaningful. Anything that matters will take time, and that time will demand more of you than you ever expected. Delayed gratification is the ultimate measure of faith. It's the space between aspiration and achievement, between what you desire and what you can deliver. It separates the casual from the committed. Anyone can sprint for a short distance, but who can endure the long road? The silence, the failures, the days when nothing seems to move? Only a few keep going. and they are the ones who arrive. Because they weren't chasing speed, they were building strength. Patience builds muscles you can't get any other way: discipline, endurance, focus. It teaches you to move forward without applause, to stay committed when no one else recognizes the value yet. Think of trying to save money when you have almost nothing. That dollar you save today may not change your life right now, but it was never about today. It's about what the habit becomes. It's about what you declare to yourself each time you hold back. I believe in my future. I believe in what I'm building. Patience is never passive. It is active belief. It's like a sculptor chiseling stone day after day, long before it resembles anything worth admiring. He doesn't need praise. He doesn't even need certainty. What he holds is vision and the relentless resolve to keep carving. While others walk away or lose interest, he stays. That's how masterpieces are made. So be honest with yourself. What are you trading your time and energy for? Are you investing it in short bursts of dopamine? Another scroll, another purchase, another quick fix? Or are you making deposits into something lasting, something that outlives the noise and the trend? Because time will always pass. The real question is whether you're wasting it or investing it. It's easy to say yes to comfort, yes to distraction, yes to ease. But every yes today is a no tomorrow. What pleasures are you choosing now that your future self may regret? Would it really break you to skip that indulgence, resist that urge, or do the hard thing now so that life becomes lighter later? This isn't punishment, it's preparation. When you learn to wait, not with frustration, but with quiet strength, you set yourself apart. You step away from the chaos of instant gratification. You stop playing the short game and begin to plant roots. Because the one who can wait, who can labor without applause, who can build without recognition, that is the one who becomes unstoppable. 30:39. Success is not taken away from the majority, it's just held back, but most of them don't live long enough to reach it. They quit halfway up the hill, just before the scenery opens up. They quit when the crowd is silent, unaware that the applause is later, after the finish line, after the outcome, after the years of showing up when it would have been easier to stay home. 31:00. What if you let someone else pursue the quick wins while you planted something substantial? What if rather than demanding attention today, you just let your future speak for itself? What if you walked with confidence in silence, knowing you're taking on work others won't do? 31:17. That you're building a future others will be green with envy over because you were patient. Waiting is not weakness, it's wisdom. The people you know who are the strongest didn't become that way by rushing. They developed over seasons of unseen effort. 31:35. They planted, they watered, and they waited. The best fruit does not grow quickly. It grows slowly, deep within fertile soil over time. So the next time life offers you something convenient, stop and ask yourself, is this what I truly desire, or is this merely what's in front of me? Have the guts to take the longer route, the one that skips the shortcuts, the one that demands more of you, but offers more in return. 32:01. Because ultimately, it's not about arriving quickly. It's about arriving prepared. 9. Contribution over competition. Everyone has been conditioned to see the world from the perspective of a race. One winner, one finish line, one prize. They've been trained to believe success is scarce, that only so much exists, and if someone else reaches it first, there's less left for them. From school grades to career promotions, this belief seeps in until it feels natural. But that belief, no matter how common, is false. True success doesn't come from crushing others. It's built by lifting others. Greatness isn't stepping on people to rise higher. It's taking them with you. Your role is not to overshadow your neighbor or make others feel small. Your role is to shine so brightly that you awaken the light in those around you. The moment you shift from asking, "What can I get?" to "What can I give?" everything changes. Doors that were once locked begin to open. Your mission gains clarity, your influence deepens, and your success grows into more than just numbers on a scoreboard. You inspire greatness by igniting it in others. That might be a kind word spoken at the right time, a steady hand when help is needed most, or simply being the one others can count on. Reliable, humble, consistent. It's not always the grand gestures that matter most, but the small, genuine acts that leave lasting impact. And when giving becomes your habit, not to impress, but from true sincerity, something remarkable happens. Your own life begins to flourish. As others bloom, so do you. Picture walking down a dark village street at night with a lantern. Each time you light another person's lamp, your flame doesn't weaken, it multiplies. In fact, the more lamps you light, the brighter your own path becomes. Soon, the entire road is illuminated. That is contribution, and it endures far longer than the shallow thrill of competition. Society often urges us to guard our edge, hide our secrets, and protect opportunities like rare treasures. But what if you did the opposite? What if you shared what you learned? What if you helped another climb even as you're rising yourself? True confidence isn't threatened by someone else's success, it celebrates it. Because the brighter the room, the brighter we all shine. You say you want to be great. That's a noble pursuit. But ask yourself, are you willing to help others become great too? That's the real test. It's easy to chase your own goals in isolation. It's harder and infinitely more valuable to reach back and pull someone up alongside you. So, who could you help today? Who needs to be reminded of their worth? Who's walking in the shadows, waiting for someone to turn on the light? This isn't weakness, it's strength in its truest form. It's about leaving behind a legacy that doesn't vanish with you. Success built on stepping over people may earn you fame, but it will leave you alone when the spotlight fades. Success that uplifts others leaves a lasting mark. It creates ripples, planting seeds that may bloom long after you're gone. And the brighter we all shine, the greater we all become. But ask yourself, are you willing to help others be great as well? That's the true test. It's easy to chase your goals alone. It's far harder and more valuable to reach back and lift someone up beside you. Who could you help today? Who needs to be reminded of their worth? Who's walking through the shadows, waiting for someone to turn on the light? This isn't weakness, it's strength where it matters most. It's about leaving behind a legacy that doesn't end with you. Success built on stepping over others might bring temporary fame, but it leaves you empty when the lights fade. Success that uplifts people, that's the kind that lasts. It ripples outward, planting seeds you may never see bloom. We've been told the myth that success is scarce, that there's not enough to go around. But the truth is, there's more than enough room at the top for those willing to build a new kind of success. One that includes others. One that multiplies instead of divides. You don't rise by stepping on people. You rise by raising the bar for yourself and for those around you. You rise by creating something so strong, so authentic, and so generous that others are lifted by it. And when you finally cross the finish line and look back on all you've built, you won't remember those you defeated. You'll remember those you built with. That is the success worth pursuing. That is the legacy that lasts. Wishing you health, happiness, and strength. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mindset Daily.